Hello. Welcome back to the Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace. Read to you by me, Melissa O'Malley. Today is day 28. We're almost done. That's wild. I hope you're feeling great. 28, feeling great. I hope you're really proud. Today's chapter is called The Truth About Moderation. So this is a really valuable one. I think she does a really great job of leading us out of the experiment. So today is called The Truth About Moderation, and we always start with a quote. This one is William Faulkner. It says, "Don't bother just to be better than others, try to be better than yourself." So, diving in. We're coming to the end of this experiment, and you're going to have to decide what to do next. Will you stay alcohol free for another 30 days, or 60 days, or indefinitely? Or will you decide to carry on as before, but become more mindful about your behavior? Before we go any further, I want to congratulate you for making it this far. Whether you sailed through without a single drink or gave in a time or two, you are not the same person you were when you began the experiment. You have new information and you get to make new decisions. I also want to make it clear that this is your decision and there are no wrong answers. And guess what? You get to change your mind anytime you want to. That's your right and prerogative as a human being. That said, let's talk about moderation for a bit. I do believe moderation is possible. Either alcohol just isn't important to a person because they have not developed an emotional or physical addiction and they truly can take it or leave it, or they are willing to put an effort to pay attention and moderate how they drink. This means constant vigilance and regular assessment. And it means being willing to make changes whenever they become necessary. I know a gentleman who drinks 17 units of alcohol every Friday night. He doesn't drink any other night of the week. And he's been doing this without fail since 2002. So, yes, it is possible. The power of decision. But there is incredible power in making a decision. Once you've truly made a decision about something in your whole body and mind, there is no plan B. There is no turning back. And that's a good thing because it lets you escape the maybe trap. Instead of running around in circles your whole life thinking, maybe I'll drink tonight. No, I shouldn't. But sure, I can moderate for a while. But oh, things seem to be getting out of control. So is it time to cut back again? Let's face it, that's exhausting. When you make a decision that you're not a drinker anymore, that's it. You're free from the hamster wheel. Alcohol no longer has a hold over you because you are of one mind. Your conscious and subconscious want the same thing. How cool is that? The key for me was changing my perspective from I don't get to drink to I could, but I don't want to. What I personally wanted for myself was for alcohol to become irrelevant in my life, a total non issue. And that's where my own experiments led me because I made the decision that I no longer wanted to put that stuff in my body. Moderation was no longer even a decision I had to make. Of course, it took a journey to get to that point, but once I got there, I've never looked back. The ins and outs of moderation are complex, both physically and psychologically. So before you make a decision to moderate, consider these ideas. One, moderation means you're always making decisions. What should I drink? How much is too much? Should I have this next drink? Research shows that any decision, small or large, takes energy. Decisions make you tired, which in turn makes you grumpy and exhausted. And if you thought moderation was tough when you're in a good mood, when you're tired and cranky from the effort of moderation, it becomes next to impossible. Making one big decision with all your mind, body, and spirit liberates you from the hundreds of daily decisions around alcohol that sap your energy. Two, moderation doesn't make sense from a physiological perspective. Alcohol creates a thirst for itself. We've already covered how this substance is neurochemically addictive. It artificially stimulates the pleasure centers in your brain, and you release counterchemicals to depress that stimulation. As the alcohol leaves your system, your mood plunges further than it was before you started drinking. And you naturally want more of it to get back up to that beginning threshold of pleasure. Moderation means you're constantly going through this cycle and fighting with lower and lower levels of pleasure. The effect of one drink is that you want another drink. Can you see the difficulties that moderation poses physiologically? 3. Alcohol impairs your ability to stick with your intentions. We know drinkers make bad decisions, right? I can remember making simple rules about my moderation, like I was going to have 2 glasses of wine and then stop. Yet I would inevitably wake up in the morning feeling horrible about not only breaking my commitment, but also about not being able to remember how many glasses I actually did have. I hated myself for failing at moderation. The truth is that even a single drink impairs your prefrontal cortex, which is where you make decisions. So the biological deck is stacked against moderation because just one drink can damage your decision making power. 4. Alcohol makes you thirsty. It's a diuretic and dehydrates you. So that next drink becomes even more enticing simply because your body is craving liquid. And since you're also craving more alcohol, like reason number 2 above or before, it only makes sense to satisfy that thirst with more alcohol. 5. Alcohol numbs your response to normal stimuli. Over time, the regular production of dynorphin in your brain suppresses your ability to enjoy everyday activities. And eventually, you lose interest in anything but drinking. So, if your plans for moderation are even remotely regular, drinking once a week or having a glass a night, you can fall into this trap. What starts out as a reasonable amount of alcohol soon becomes not enough, and you're right back on that hamster wheel of addiction. This, of course, is tolerance, and tolerance is one of the main criteria for alcohol use disorder. 6. Alcohol increases cravings, but not pleasure. By releasing dopamine into your system, your brain is increasing the desire for alcohol. Dopamine causes a want, a craving. Then, by releasing dynorphin, your brain is decreasing the pleasure you get from that drink you so badly want. Over time, you want to drink more and more, but you likely like it less and less. So, moderation leads you down this slippery slope that's all about chemicals and not about your personal strength or willpower. Today, put the idea of moderation under the microscope of the ACT technique. With everything you know, do you still believe moderation is a good idea? Do you believe it's even possible to enjoy moderation? And if you do decide to moderate, can you remain open to the possibility that it might turn out to be less than you hoped for? Day 28 journal questions. Remember, all the wisdom you seek is actually inside you. The most important words in this experiment are the ones you tell yourself. Take some time to answer these questions in a journal, a voice memo to yourself, or simply by speaking the answers out loud for only you to hear. 1. Your key takeaways. What are the most important things you learned from today's reading? With everything you now know, do you still believe moderation is a good idea? Again, there is no wrong answer. This is about figuring out what's right for you. 2. Mindful drinking in your future. Define what exactly mindful drinking means to you. If you aim to drink in moderation with both eyes wide open, it is important to decide exactly what that means for you. How much do you plan to drink at a time? How often? What situations will you allow yourself to drink in? How will you measure success? Just begin a rough plan today. It doesn't have to be perfect, because if you don't take time to define what you want and what success is for you, then you won't know if you're hitting your goals. So that's day 28. It's pretty clear that she has an opinion on moderation. And her opinion is that, she doesn't she doesn't do it. She doesn't like it. So curious to hear how that lands for you. If you're in the Facebook group, I'm curious to hear how that lands for you. Feel free to make a little post if you'd like to. Today or tomorrow is day 29. And the chapter is titled Tough Love. I'll see you then. Bye.